Gloria, how you doing? I'm running a little bit late today because I had to get everything ready for the new Lady Gaga picture that we're doing, which is pretty exciting. I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are excited about it. We're also doing this on new paper, which is very exciting. We have two new things today. First new thing is this is on Canson 184-pound acid-free fine grain paper, and the color is gray. So this is the first time I'm using this paper, so we're gonna learn about it together. Yes, Lady Gaga is amazing. I love her too, so I'm excited. Thank you, Gloria, and thank you so much for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. So let me go ahead and get the reference for this picture, and then we can start. So as you can see, I went ahead and oh, I'm sorry you don't like her, Mike, but she's so talented though. So basically I did a very quick projection, nothing fancy, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and work on her a little bit more. We're going to refine some of these shapes before I go in with the airbrush. So the paper's new, and also we're trying out this paper right here, this Speedball Super Black India ink. I'm really excited about this stuff. So this is going to be our first use of that India ink, and I really think it can give a run for the money for Higgins. So we're going to actually test that out. So two new products today, which I think are exciting and opens up the availability of the products that some people can't get with the gunmetal Canford cardstock and also the Higgins ink. So it's very exciting and very new stuff, so I'm happy about it. And let me make sure that we have okay, I'm going to make sure that I have the proper focus, and what you do is you just blow it up, and then you really can get that micro focus. Okay, and there we go. And now we're going to go ahead and we are going to begin. So just give me a quick moment. I'm going to pull up the reference for this particular painting. Okay, so I have my reference up, and now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and begin to work on the refinement of it. And you know, I really want you guys to know that I don't just project and go in. A projection is a time saver. I've been drawing since I was a kid, so I definitely recommend doing as much drawing as you can, and that will help you immensely. Okay. Yes, Willie, so many changes today. Paris says, Tim, I think that Speedboard ink is like tar. I have tried it for calligraphy. I'll be interested in seeing your results. I've already done several things with it, and I'm very happy with it, and I think you guys are really going to love it too. So that's going to be fantastic. So let's go ahead, and we're just going to work on her eyes, just to get a little bit of refinement here, guys. And so, you know, just making the contours a lot better. That's what's important. And what I could even do is I could even go ahead and blow that up a little bit. And let's see if I can do that. You know, show you, you know, how I actually go ahead and work on that eye. What I look for are the negative spaces of where the eye actually comes down. and what angle is that negative space right there. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for angles at this point. Even though it's a circle, it's all about angles. And this is the Mono Zero. It's the chisel one, which is really good. And then I see the pupil right here. And what I'm doing right now is just refining the shapes. And I think it's important to, you know, show that it's really crucial to work on the drawing, because the longer you work on the drawing, the more time you give it, is only going to help the painting down the line. And what I'm going to do as well, and you always want to check your angles. You always want to make sure that they're okay. And you can't be too careful in the drawing, I don't think. I definitely don't believe that's actually possible, to be too careful in the drawing stage. And even in, you know, any situation, you know, it's always important to never go ahead of yourself, never go too far ahead of the plan. I'm going to say that drawing is a probity of art for nothing. And then also you want to make sure that you keep the lines very light. You don't want them to be too dark. Getting this correct is so crucial. This is the Mono Zero eraser. It's a lot smaller than the other one. You see, here's the chisel, and then this one is the round. So they're different. Letitia, how are you? How you doing? Letitia just got a brand new laptop, guys, so now she can actually see the live stream much bigger. That is so cool. That is so exciting. I love when friends get laptops. It's almost like I get a laptop, you know, or a tablet, because I'm so addicted to technology. No gum for me, no. No gum, no. I'm dangerous with gum, so we're gonna have to say ixnay on the gum A, that's for sure. Okay. And then let's go on over to the other eye, and what I'll do is I'll just go over here. And you can see the projection is a mess. It's not anything of any consequence, so it's really bad. But that's why, you know, knowing how to draw is so important. My projections are just basically just positioning. Go. And you know, when you get involved in live streaming things like that, you really don't worry too much about anything but creating the art. You know, if it doesn't always have to be, you know, airbrushing and using all kinds of freehand shields. Sometimes it's just doing the basics, and the basics is really what's important. The fundamentals. I think that is something that really is lacking sometimes. And fundamentals is what I really preach. You know, what my teachers always preach to me. So far, this paper is really fantastic. It's really nice and thick, so I do like it. I think it. So far, I think it's passing the test, but we'll see. So I went to the gym today, Letitia, and I worked out and went on the treadmill and I went into the weight room and I was excited to go into the pool and I forgot my swim trunks, so that was horrible. So no swimming for me today, perhaps tomorrow. As you can see, everything is so crude on this side, and I'm just refining. I mean, the more I refine, it's only going to be better for the final piece. A bad drawing will come back to haunt you. A good drawing will save you. Remember that. So, spend extra time. Always check the angles. You're off just by a couple degrees, it's going to throw everything off like a domino effect. See, no stencils here. This is just pure drawing, so you want to really do as much as your hand as possible. Hey Wendy, good to see you. How's everything? No skinny dipping at the gym. The live stream would be canceled for being arrested. How you doing, Wendy? Okay, so as you can see, so far I'm fairly happy with both eyes here. And what I'm going to do is just erase a little bit. So let's come out a little bit here. So there we go. And then maybe we'll go in just, let's see if one does anything. If it's, nope, it's too much. Okay. So right now this is where we are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on some of the other aspects. And the first aspect I want to work on is this nostril here. I want to make sure that the angles are correct. I don't believe any, you know, even though I do use a projector, I don't believe it and I don't trust it. And that has messed up before. Something could move just a little bit and then everything could just go out of it, you know? Oh, okay. So you're working on an owl, is that correct? I'm just seeing part of that chat there, Wendy. Now in the reference, you see a lot more of her other nostril here, but what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on basically just keeping the second nostril more in shadow, and this whole this whole shadow is going to be one big shape here. That's my plan. Okay, because you know I don't want to be a slave to a photograph. You know, I want it to be mine. And as you guys know, I do change stuff like the composition. The original photo, she's front and center, and as you can see, I have her off to the left. Those are very important aspects. Okay, so let's go ahead and refine these lips here, this lips area. It's a lot easier to refine things in pencil than if you were going to try and do this with the airbrush. So now why? Because we've been drawing with a pencil since we were a little kid. I know I have. Now what I could do is I could go ahead and have this all drawn out and perfect when I come into the live stream, but I really feel that that wouldn't be a benefit to you guys because it's not like I'm just projecting or cutting out something, cutting out stencils and just photograph, just coming in with the airbrush. That's not what I'm about. I want to impart how important your handwriting is to the artwork. And something so simple as this in the finished product will really go a long way. And just like when you work in an airbrush, don't lose patience when you're drawing. Don't worry about it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mike. But I hope you enjoy the other tutorials. And if you have any questions, feel free, Mike. And I'm really sorry that you were unhappy with the subject matter. I do apologize, sir. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to just work on refining everything. So right now I'm going to refine the her jaw and then her chin. So right here. And so in the picture, this basically, her jaw goes in and you can see a lot of detail. But what I'm doing is I'm just having this side all dark. So a little more of drama I'm looking for. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to go ahead and come in with the white ink. And I think that's going to be pretty cool. And this nostril to the one here is just slight raise here. There we go. Just raise it up a little bit, just a slight bit. There's a slight disparity from one nostril to the other. That happens. And there we go. And what my teacher Harvey Dinnerstein said is sometimes you want to accentuate what makes them who they are to get more of their character in a portrait. So that's very important. And I took that to heart when he told me that. God, how many years ago? I'm not going to say how many years ago because everyone knows I'm 39 years old. Isn't that right, Letitia? 39? Gloria knows I'm 39. Everyone knows I'm 39. Like Jack Benny. Of course, I'm dating myself that I'm actually know who Jack Benny is. And there's this wonderful little blast of light right here at the corner of her mouth, and I think that's just really, really elegant there. Little bit of light right here, just this patch of light that's really nice. So you guys know, yeah, yes, Wendy's 18, of course, and of course, Gloria, thank you so much for that confirmation. I really appreciate it. So it's official. I'm 39. Gloria said so, so it's all good. Okay, so as you can see, we're almost done with the drawing aspect, and then we can go in with the airbrush, and you know, if we have to do any other adjustments, but we can just do this for, you know, a few minutes. Gloria says she remembers 18 so long ago. I doubt it was that long ago. You know, maybe 15 years ago or something, Gloria, right? Is that true? Gloria goes, yeah, right, that's funny. Okay. And as you can see, we're doing pretty well, I think, as far as time goes. So right here, and then her eyebrows come down like that. So it's going to be interesting to get the character here of her eyebrows, because her eyebrows are so important to her look, right? And I think it's a good thing, and I think it's part of her character. Wendy says that she's 58. Am I older than you? Wendy, you're not 58. I don't think so. I think, did you mean 38? Was there a typo? Okay. All right. So I think I'm pretty happy with the drawing aspect thus far, and then we can go ahead and draw as we do with the airbrush. But what we could do is go ahead, and Wendy says, I am about to be 59. Thank you. Hey Rick, how you doing? How's everything? Rick is watching today from Grand Junction, Colorado. All right. No, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time. And it's so cool that I'm reaching different parts of the country and the world. So I'm excited. If you guys could do me a favor, if you could just tell me all the different places that you're at, and that would be neat. Just to see what kind of demographics we. Heath, how you doing? Good to see ya. Heath says he's 46, or is that 64? I'm old timers is kicking in. No, that has to be 39, I think. Yeah, there's something going on with the keyboards on the live stream. And everyone's age, you know, when they say that, it should say 39, and other numbers keep popping up. Dallas, Texas, very cool. Okay. All right. So, I think I'm okay right now, except here. This is kind of problematic. It's a very important contour. So, Letitia, New Jersey, yes, very cool. So that's neat. Gloria, Little Ferry, New Jersey. That town sounds very familiar, Gloria. What's it like there? Cool. And I'm just going to fix this contour here. This contour is so important, and it could just throw everything off. So I really have to make sure that I get it correctly. And that's why it's, you know, although I would love to go straight in with the airbrush, I'm not going to risk any kind of, you know, finished product compromisation. Okay, so I'm seeing that it is probably like right here. Oh, so we got Central British Columbia. Heath, very cool. That's exciting. Raoul's in Somerset, New Jersey. So we got lots of Jersey in the house, which is great. Okay, so now, so when we're at this stage, of course, so what we want to do is we want to pretty much come in with the white now. And before I do, I'm just going to just erase some of these lines a little bit, or lighten them with a kneaded eraser. And that's what I'm doing right now. Just lightening them. And keeping everything on the light side. Because, you know, with anything, you know, you don't want it to come back and haunt you. And it can haunt you, of course, and we've seen it. So we want to keep, although the India ink is erasable, the white India ink by Bombay is not very erasable. So what we're going to do is just continue lightening it up. It's a very important step, guys. And so Wendy says, wow, Heath, we are foreigners. Yes, a lot on New Jersey, definitely. Distant neighbors. So has anyone seen the movie, which was A Star is Born, and did you like it? I know that's been out a long time, right? I'm way behind the times, guys. I'm always, you know, late on things. So, well, we all live in North America. That is true. Okay, so, all right. So I have a, see how nice and light it is, and the lines are pretty sure. You know, I have a pretty positive outlook as far as where I want everything to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to take her and we're going to move her over here, and then we are going to get one of these cups. Now, okay, one thing, Tim's 2-Minute Tech Tuesday is going to be on Thursday, because a lot of things were happening this week. I had several pieces I had to do for collectors, and you know, it's just sort of, and I had to make some phone calls to some companies, and it just, I did the video yesterday, but there was no way I had time to actually do it. Okay, so here we are, and you're going to see we're just going to maybe about 6, I would say. You know what? The dropper's not working, so let's just pour a little bit in here. Now, this is not an exact science with the white, as you guys know. Definitely isn't an exact science. We want it to be this consistency of skim milk. And this is a really cool tip. For water, I put it in one of these mason jars, and it has a cap, so when it's not in use, I always put the jar cap on, and that keeps from having a disaster in the studio. And believe me, disasters in the studio happen. Now here, since I'm using the white and it's not an exact science like the other inks, what I'm doing is, doesn't matter if I'm using the 3-inch. I just want to get this to the consistency of skim milk. And you see how it sort of moves around in there. I would say this seems pretty good. Now what I usually do when I'm doing my white ink, I like using the other Badger airbrush that I show. I'll show you guys. Put that jar back on. See, it has a nice skim milk consistency. So let me take out my Renegade Velocity, which I do love. I love this airbrush. It's very great. And it just has, and what I did with the Velocity is I put the air cap from a Sotar on here, and it just basically, because it came with the one with the prongs, and this really helped out. So that's what I did there. And that was from Gaston. Gaston gave me that tip, which was really fantastic. That really helped a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and fire this baby up. Okay, so this is a different view. Let me make sure. Okay, so this is a different view, and I'm just going to show you my setup. And this one has one of those masters, those inexpensive sort of Mac valves, and I just put that in here, and that's my connection here. So I hope that helps. Now I want to get the cap. Got the cap here, and we're going to load this up. Now remember what I always say about white, that it doesn't show up immediately, that the white doesn't show up on the paper for a few moments beforehand. So what we're going to do is we have a test sheet here, and we're going to test out both the airbrush and the white. And as you can see, it's pretty good. And just let it dry, and if you want to put more, you go over the second time. And you see that? So just for instance, so let's say I just, draw a circle here, a sphere, or what have you. And I'm just going to test this out, as far as smooth gradation. So I'm pretty happy with how it works. Okay, so you see that? It's not bad, so I'm happy with it. So we're going to put that test back. We're going to bring Lady Gaga back here. We're going to move my airbrush. over here. So this is the Badger Renegade Velocity, and the ink we're using, the white ink, is the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay White India ink. And let's see some. Now, I haven't been looking at the comments. Wendy says distant neighbors. Let's see. So someone says, let's see. Well, we all live in North America. I haven't seen it, but love Lady Gaga. Wendy says. He says, Tim, how long do you use a kneaded eraser? Throughout the whole painting, painting process. And Gloria says, can you show the actual picture of Lady Gaga? Sure, definitely. I'm going to do that in just one quick moment for you, Gloria. Let me get that for you. And we'll add sauce, and we'll go with images. Okay, so this is the one that I'm using right here. So you see, that's the one that I've been working with, guys. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to put a piece of paper underneath because I want to save the table. Save the table, whatever you do. So I have my doodle sheet or my practice sheet there. And as I'm going to use the kneaded eraser throughout, Heath, and especially with the white. Whenever I'm putting in the white with the edges, I'm going to be real worried about pencil lines, because as you know, the white does not pencil lines and white is not the best combination. Doesn't erase the best. So you see, this is sort of a larger area. Let me go ahead and see if I darken it a little bit. Does that help? Then I'm going to just put in some of these kind of brighter lights. And while that's happening, I'm going to pull up my reference. I'm going to work off of that. Let me see if I could sort of calm down some of these pencil lines that I can only see. So the white pastel comes later. What I want to do is create more of a sculptural form right now. And what I mean by a sculptural form is that you actually can feel in the very beginning stages of what's coming forward and what's going back. And it gives us, now he says, when would I throw away the kneaded eraser? When it gets really overloaded and just really gross, you just know that this is gross, and that's when I get rid of it. This one right here is pretty close to being thrown out. Usually around that stage. You know what's funny? They don't make kneaded erasers the way they used to. They used to make them so much better. And I'm sure other artists feel that way. So as you can see, the white is really working. Are you guys able to see that? And now Wendy says she hasn't seen it but loves Lady Gaga, and that's in reference to the movie Star is Born. I really did love the movie. I mean, I really enjoyed it. And I thought that, she was really fantastic in it. I mean, what a debut. I mean, for, a major movie. I I think she was in other movies. I'm not sure. See, this right here is sort of a neighboring value, very light value. So I'm going to be careful not to have that too dark. And he says, when would you draw away the Kneaded Eraser? Oh, okay. Do they stop working or start to leave marks? They never really start to leave marks. They just sort of get gross, you know? And I think that's what happens with me. You know, they just feel gross in your hand. They get kind of oily. They still do the job, but not as effectively. So I really recommend this Velocity. It's a real good versatile airbrush by Badger, and I just love it. I also love, very similar to this airbrush, which is my favorite, the Extreme Patriot Arrow, the Velocity actually has the same low cup. It doesn't obstruct too much, which is really fantastic. Hey Bill, how you doing? How's everything? So I'm glad to hear you're uploading something new. Very cool. So as you can see, you don't want to get overzealous with the white. So what I'm doing is I'm actually separating the lights from the color of the paper, and that is going to be really going a long way to creating that three-dimensional feel here. Remember also how important it is to let it dry before you keep going over it, because the white's not going to show up until after it dries, which is like a second, a millisecond, but you want to let that happen. See how I'm really getting rid of that pencil line before I go any further, and you don't want to, you want to be on your toes with that. And we're going for the larger white areas. And you'll get the hang of the white, and just, you know, keep at it. The good thing is that, yes, white does not work well on top of tone, meaning if you have any ink on, white is not going to work well. But the black ink works perfectly well on white ink. Works perfectly well with no adverse side effects. Like I said, these are crucial steps in creating a painting in this technique. Over here. And so what we can do is we can keep this very light, and then we can actually use the first instance of our freehand shield here. I'll get this freehand shield over here. This one right here, and I'm just want to use this for the bottom of her lip, because it's a very subtle contour, and I still want to create the edge. And you can create the edge even at this early stage. And take your time until you actually find that edge. See, we created that edge even though it's very subtle. Right here we have a little beauty mark, and I think I could find that. I don't need to have that there. I'll find that later through measurements. So sometimes the drawing will get in the way. When you do that, that's what you need to do. And Bill says, how well I went all week and thought, dang, I need to upload a video now. Very cool. Okay, can't wait to see it, my friend. Let's go ahead and hit this dark area here. And let's go ahead and put that in here. So as you can see right now, we have a very nice beginning. And let the ink actually catch up, the white ink catch up to the surface, meaning let it dry. And where you see a buildup or highlight, you can go ahead and start to add some of that right now. Now, let me go ahead and work on this area, which is going to be tricky because I have a pencil line. And what we do have is that we have this dark color and this white, which are basically right next to each other. So we have to make sure that this pencil line does not get in the way. Same thing here. So we're going to make sure that these pencil lines are very light, but still visible. It's a very important, very crucial step, so definitely make sure that you heed that step. So far this paper is actually doing better than the cardstock, especially with the other color, Dreadnought Gray. I do have a Dreadnought Gray type of color, but I'm not sure exactly just yet how that's going to react. So once we come in with the ink, it's going to be fantastic. Okay, so I have the contour done pretty nicely here. And we're just tapping that. We're not going to go and, get aggressive with that because you don't want to damage the surface, am I right? So that's important. we're not working on metal or car or anything like that, thank God. And so basically, we're working with paper, and we want to make sure that we take care of the paper. We don't kill it. Now, if you see on the picture here, you can see that it's very soft edged here on her neck, like extremely soft edge. So with that being said, when I come in with the ink, I'm going to be very soft. Not going to have much of an edge. There we go. So keep that soft edge, which is very important. Now in here are some lights, but they're really not light enough for me to warrant using the white in here. So I'm going to basically not do that because it's actually the value or a little bit darker than the paper. And anything lighter, I can come in with the white pastel or come in later. Now, what exactly is that paper, Tim? Now, Willie, this is from Canson. The designation is 184-pound acid-free fine grain paper. And the color I've gotten with this is like a medium gray. I don't have the exact name of the paper, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a link I'm going to put a link in here, and then I'm going to send a link in a description down the line. Now you guys know I used to paint with Iwata, and so I do like, even though I am a Badger man and I do love Badger better than anybody, I just always like to have the back exposed. Because you need to get at the needle, and that's just, how I work. I sometimes do 10 hours of airbrushing a day, so you know what? I need access to that needle. I don't have time to go ahead and do any kind of, troubleshooting if the needle is stuck or whatever. I just go ahead, grab the needle, pull it back and in and out again, and that usually fixes it. So I need to be fixed fast, so that's why you'll see a lot of artists actually, expose the needle. And let's see here. There's just a blast of light right here on this side of the microphone. Okay, so I'm almost 100% happy. Let's go ahead and work on the earring here and her ear. And I think that will pretty much set us up. I'm going to just lighten up this contour here. Now over here, we're going to work on this part of her ear. I remember when I did a portrait of Kim Kardashian, a lot of people were unhappy but you gotta follow your own heart, you know, if, you know, and I definitely wanted to do a portrait of Lady Gaga, and, you know, it happens. Sometimes you are doing a painting and, you know, not everyone's gonna like the subject matter, but you have to paint what's in your heart, you know. You have to paint what you feel is, you know, what you want to express. Who do you want to express? You know, who do you relate to? And I think that was the case with Lady Gaga. I kind of relate to her in a lot of ways, and so I think that's important for me, and one of the reasons why I chose Lady Gaga. I mean, I like the fact in her speech at the Oscars, she talked about how important it is to follow your dreams, and if she can do it, you can do it. And that really touched me. It really did. And I think that's the reason why I'm painting her. And, you know, it's, you know, she's not necessarily the most attractive person, and, you know, I don't feel that way, you know, but I think she's beautiful. I really do. I think she's gorgeous. Gorgeous in her own way. You know, not stereotypically gorgeous, but that's okay, you know? And it's important for us to paint all types of people, all types of looks, and that's crucial too. But only if you feel it, right? Only if you feel it. Let's see. So is everyone still seeing messages and everything? Okay. Yeah, 10:30. You know that the chat goes away at 10:30. Okay. Okay, so I'm actually pretty happy. Let me see, as far as the teeth, I'm kind of hesitant to put anything down on the teeth because of the fact of the pencil lines. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the teeth alone, and we're gonna do that with the white pastel. I think sometimes the better part of valor is caution, or something like that, right? So let's just do a little here. Oh, the whites of her eyes. That's always good. It's really nice, this velocity, and how it handles the white ink, which I love. And so Willie says, Tim, it's your live stream and you're helping us, so you paint what you want. Oh, thank you, my friend. And you know how to shut Lady Gaga up. Tim, you paint whomever you want. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. That's very sweet, guys. Thank you. And, you know, I do want you guys to enjoy. That's important. You know, it's important that you guys are enjoying the painting and everything like that. But I can't unfortunately, you know, make everyone happy. I wish I could, honestly. I really wish I could. And so Bill says, Tim, you know how to shut Lady Gaga up? And he says, you poker face. Oh my goodness, that's a funny joke. I'm sure Lady Gaga would appreciate that joke. That's pretty funny. And I hope, you know, I have crazy hopes and aspirations. I hope one day when I do a portrait of someone, it helps their career. That I'm at the stage where it could actually be something that, you know, could boost someone's career if I do a portrait of them. That's my hope. And that's why I keep working, because, you know, you keep working and something's bound to stick, right? Opportunities are bound to happen. And that's why I think, and I was thinking today, how important it is to keep throwing things at the wall. You know, when it comes to your artwork, keep at it, keep painting. We're gonna do some paintings that don't come out too hot. We're gonna do some paintings that are really good and they're groundbreaking. And then we're gonna do some paintings that aren't too hot and then groundbreaking. But you gotta keep throwing it at the wall, and it's gonna stick. What percentage it sticks, that's different, guys. And I think that's very important to really embrace such a thing. So that is one of the reasons why I think it's so important to keep going, to keep pushing yourself, keep painting different things, the pictures that maybe challenge you. So it's 10:37, so I think we are having a problem with the chat, so I'm just going to remove the chat, reauthorize. It's just going to be one quick second, as always. Okay, there we go. And all right, so chat should be back up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you are. Okay, so we are back in chat, and Bill says he's a funny guy. Oh, your wife is totally cool. Wendy says that to Bill. Gloria says that's great. And Wendy loves that song. Opportunity to print themselves eventually. Yes, Bill. But we have to keep putting ourselves out there. We got to keep working the paintings. I love when you guys show me paintings that you do. How important it is to keep going, to keep pushing yourself over and over again until you really get it. And you're never going to really get it, but you're going to keep doing it. And you're going to keep working, and you're going to make those groundbreaking paintings. You're also going to make paintings that are horrible, but you're going to keep going. You're going to learn from those paintings and drawings. Having a little bit of coffee there. All right. I like that one saying, keep drawing something against the wall. Eventually something will stick. I think it was Wayne Gretzky says that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so that's why it's really crucial to keep going. So Bill's working on a turtle. That's pretty cool. That's very exciting. So what we're going to do, guys, is we put the white. So I want you guys to really look at what the white stage looks like. So we did the drawing, the careful drawing for the projection. Then we kind of fixed it with the drawing. And then we went ahead and went over it with white. And now we're going to go ahead, we're going to start doing some detail, but this is where you want to be. So definitely take a picture of this or what have you in your mind. This is where you want to be. All right, so let's go ahead and move Ms. Gaga over here. And then we are going to have a new ink. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to try this one. This is Super Black India ink, and it's by Speedball. What's really exciting about this, it's a fraction of the cost of the Higgins. I did some tests with this, and I'll show you some things that I did already with this Super Black India ink. Let me see if I can show you. So I am happy with some of the results. So I'm just going to see if I could find. So this is with that ink. This is a painting totally done with that ink, as you can see. So we have really nice gradations here. You get really nice darks. And I'm able to erase just as well as I can with the Higgins. And it really is working well. The white pastel. This particular paper is the De La Rowney Canford cardstock. This is Dreadnought Gray. But you can see it works really well. But now this is our first demonstration, and I'm excited to share that with you guys. Share this with you guys. Okay, so, and let's see here. Okay, so we have the artwork far away. So it comes in here. One of the little drawbacks we have, hold this dot right here. Now I do have these little things that I purchased from eBay. These are really cool. They're little 1 ounce eye drop. They come with an eyedropper. It's really great. I love it. It's glass. So it's much better. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take some of this ink here, and what you want to do when you have any kind of India ink, regardless of the brand, you either want to shake it up, or in this case you're just gonna stir it a little bit, get all that impurity, you know, not impurity, get everything, if it has separated a little bit. There you go. So it has a nice mixture. Then we're going to take this first, and we're going to put some of that in here. Now, why am I doing this? Because I don't want to spill it all over the place. Black India ink is really strong. And this is a 2-hour live stream, so, you know, it's no big deal. You guys could talk and hang out while I do this. Okay, so now we have a really nice amount, and I will do more. And one of the things that's really good about doing it that way is it's much cleaner. There's less chance of any kind of little dried ink getting into your airbrush. And the fact that it's not plastic, it's glass, is really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our 6 and 21. I found out that 6 and 21 is really good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what's really great that these little things that I purchased, these little jars, have really good eyedroppers. So we'll put this over here and put our ink away. Alright, so now we have our water. So 6 and 21, guys, remember that. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 1 for good luck, because you never get a full one out of that, so I always do that. So now what we're going to do is we have our mixture, and this is actually a really good mixture, guys. See, we'll just mix that up really well. It's very light, but the good thing about the India ink with the Speedball is just as strong. I think they're very compatible. And yep, an extra drop. Definitely. Bradley, how you doing? Good to see you, man. So if I miss any, you know, this is like a real involved live stream. If I miss any, just let me know. Any comments, just ask the comment again, okay? Because this part is a little in depth, so I don't see everyone's comment right away. I have to look up. So yes, I did add an extra drop. And Wendy, she's on the case, right? She is astute, that's for sure. And so let's go ahead and move this airbrush aside. We'll clean that one later. And of course, your favorite airbrush and mine, the Extreme Patriot Arrow by Badger with the modified smaller trigger. That's a very important thing for this technique, is the smaller trigger. And you know, I know you guys will definitely attest to that who have done it. Okay. Now remember, I never go into the artwork with a new okay, see this? I don't like this. This hose already has a MAC valve. I have a MAC valve on this, so that's not compatible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the other hose here. And let's see. we go. And you see how light this is, guys, compared to that, right? Look how light that is. But with the light, with the fact that it's light, we have more control and we can actually go at a lower air pressure. So I'm just testing, making sure that my Extreme Patriot Arrow. The airbrush we used before was the Velocity, which I love as well. So let's bring Miss Gaga over here. Okay. And, you know, we always like to start at the eyes, right? That's where we always like to start. So, double Mac, that's right. See, it's too many Macs. So funny. And let's go ahead. No, I want McDonald's. Oh, man. So I've been on a diet, guys, since February. And I can't tell you how many times I have been tempted to go into McDonald's and have a Whopper and all that stuff. Oh my God, I just can't tell you. I am tempted all the time. So what we're going to do is we are just going to make sure everything's light, but we don't really have a problem with this ink here. Okay, so let us go ahead and start with her eyes here. I'm just going to pull her up so I can see it. Okay, now so I can see her eye. Okay, so as you can see here on this eye, we are so what we do on this eye, we're going to do on the other eye. And as you can see, as I said in my Tim's 2-Minute Tech Tuesday a few weeks ago, on how that angle really helps with detail. Sort of a 45-degree angle. Okay, now we did that eye. Let's go ahead to this eye. And I'm at a real low pressure here. I have my Mac valve really cranked, so I'm at like 25 psi, and then I have a very low airflow with the Mac valve. And now we can actually go ahead and just establish some of the finer points with a little bit of erasing, nothing too fancy. Just keep refining the shapes when you can. And so, like I said, we do one eye and we go over to the next, and then we go ahead and work on the top part of this eye here. As you can see, working on that angle really helps me to have control of the linear aspects of this piece here. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. You want to get the feeling as if you're working with a pencil. But unlike, you know, with the pencil, I'm not doing any measurements here. I'm pretty much believing what my pencil did. It's like having confidence in your preliminary drawing. That's why I don't have confidence in any kind of projection or any kind of stencil. I have no confidence whatsoever. Plus, I don't want to not be able to draw. Same here, what I did over there, I'll do over here. And then as you can see, I'm just going to start moving down real quick, you know. So further away, remember, you want to paint three-dimensional. So further away, you're going to have a lighter, softer line. Closer, you're going to have a darker, harder edge line. Even with this crazy dilution of 21 to 6. Now remember, even though the photo shows more of this nostril, I'm only going to do an indication of the nostril in the last stage. Plus, this part of her cheek is going to be all lost except for a little glint of her earring there. As you can see, I'm doing the side plane of her face, so that's pretty cool. Bradley, good to see you. Bill, how did the contest go? I haven't had a chance to watch the video. Oh, okay, the contest. Oh, cool. Okay, so let's continue. So as you can see, guys, what do you think so far? It seems to really work very well. And honestly, this gives us a real alternative. So this is something that, and it actually is less expensive than the Higgins. See how as I go closer to the point, I'm actually going closer to the surface. So I'm painting in 3 dimensions. And I'm rocking the trigger back and forth. And just trust, guys. I want you to trust when you do your preliminary drawing. I want you to trust it. You see that line, how I got that line, and I was pretty confident with it, is because I do all those practice dagger strokes. And just like practice, just like Michael Jordan said, and people like Kobe Bryant, just like practice is what happens when you practice dagger strokes and you practice your dots and everything, and you keep at it. You keep the practice, do at least a half hour a day. You do that for 1 year, you're going to separate yourself from half the people airbrushing out there. And that is not like, that's just a promise. So if you do that, I promise you will be separating yourselves from the other airbrushes out there. Because then you're just relying on your ability to draw and paint. You're not relying on controlling the airbrush because you have that down. So it's so important. So very important. Okay. And so that's something that you definitely want to practice. And you know what? It's always going to help. It's never not going to help. It's always going to improve your skills. It's never not going to improve your skills. Practicing your, and I can't impart this enough, practicing your daggers and your dots and your fading lines and doing that whenever you can. I know not everyone has time, so, whenever you can, it's really important. And it's really going to take your work to that next level. And that I promise. It's taking my work to the next level. And I'm only telling you guys this because that's what I experienced. Even today, especially today, this stage of my career, when I'm on my game is when I'm doing my practices, my dagger strokes and my dots. So as you can see, things are starting to come together pretty well. So that's pretty cool. Bradley says, Speedball inked the other day while ordering school supplies, wondering about it. It's really great, Bradley. You're really going to love it, so I definitely recommend it. It erases really well, just like Higgins, and it also is less expensive than Higgins, so those are two very good aspects of it. So you see I'm painting in 3 dimensions. As I'm coming close to where it gets real fine line here, I'm just really close. So it's like a dagger stroke. It's like a very, several real close up dagger strokes consecutively. It's almost like sketching, when you sketch, it's the same thing. So as you can see, I'm moving around and I'm not going too crazy. I'm just worrying about big shapes and big areas. And now we're going to go ahead and work on her lips here. And here we have a value. So we're working on the values right now, which is the local value. We're not getting involved in detail. Not at all. Now if I want to go lighter, I just pull back on the trigger and go back a little further, and that's how I get a lighter tone by not making any changes. If I want to get a darker tone, I pull back on the trigger a little bit more, and I also just go closer to the surface. that simple. And it's important to not get involved with any of the details just yet. So it's much lighter on the bottom lip, but still darker than the paper. So I'm further away, and if I have to get darker, I just come a little closer. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do some really important, light but very important structural shapes here. The Cupid's bow or fulcrum. Now remember, this is always going to get darker. Okay, so now we're going to do the shadow, the formed shadow on her chin. And some of these shadows right here. Now we do have the background to contend with, but we're going to hold off on that. So what we can do is describe the form of her shoulder. It's soft edge, so I'm not doing any freehand shields, as you can see, in the shoulders. See, fading lines. And the same thing here. I'm just going to lose this edge here. Any questions I missed, please re-ask them. And notice, like, same thing with Selena Gomez. Remember, it didn't look like her. I don't care if it looks like her. Not at this stage. This stage is just about the recipe. It's just about the program and sticking with that program. So now I'm doing the cast shadow on her neck. Then on this side, let's go ahead and work on her hair. On this side here. Here we have some hard edges, so we can go ahead and use a freehand shield here. And we're just staying light at first. And you want to be perpendicular for the most part. And then we'll go on to the other side of her hair. And here it's just very dark. And then this nostril here. Want to like that, and then we are going to continue maybe working on an edge here. Here's an edge that we could basically keep throughout the painting, so we can establish that now. And we're using that freehand shield to establish this edge. There we go. See, all these little things are going to go a long way to create the realism down the line. Now everything looks dark, but it's extremely light. We are working with that extremely light, very, very light gradation here, or light dilution. Remember, when I do something with one eye, I immediately do it with the other eye, and don't let one eye go further without the other. You want the two eyes to be, you know, pretty much the same, right? It's very important. Now what I can do is I could start sketching in some of the midtones right now, which is a big help. As if I'm sketching with a pencil. Remember, the further away, I'm going to be working with very light washes of tone. Right here under her eye, it's very light. So look how further away I am. I'd say when I'm going that light, I must be about 6 to 7 inches away from the surface. But I'm modeling the form of her face. And I'm doing it as if I'm working with a pencil and a stump. No different. why I recommend working with a pencil whenever you can. You get that sort of, you know, sketching sort of technique down. And that's what we're doing. We're basically sketching it. Oh, thanks, Letitia. I appreciate that. And let's see, some questions. Bradley says he hates typing on his phone. He thinks he's going to have to do a little fine tuning to make it work. So Bradley, you're having trouble with your airbrush, is that correct? I would say the ink is actually better. I would say that it's cheaper and that actually lends to it. But I think that I am going to be using Speedball from now on. Definitely like it better. So I would definitely say Speedball is probably the way to go right now. And so definitely give it a try. The Higgins is fantastic, but you can't go wrong with the Higgins, right? It's proven, it works, but this is a really great alternative for you. And the fact that it's less and easy to get, that's two very good pluses, you know? I would give it a try. Remember, we also tried the other one, remember, which we were pretty happy with, which was the Pro Art, but it wasn't as good, and there were some major disadvantages. There aren't any major disadvantages to the Speedball, and that's a good thing. So that makes me feel good, definitely. And he says, Willie says, is there different types or just one? There are different types, and you want to get this one right here, which is a super black India ink, and it's waterproof, which is very important. So that is the 2 ounce, and it comes in a 32 ounce and a 16 ounce, which I'm excited about, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in here. And this way I'll have a whole bunch, you know. But that's my plan thus far. Okay, so let's go ahead and establish some of the contours of her ear here. Always wipe that off. So I'm just establishing, and then I'm going to establish the jaw. Remember, there was kind of fuzzy contour here, so I'm sort of going with that fuzzy contour here, not worrying about the edge work or freehand shields or anything there. But they're pretty strong over there by her ear. So as you can see, you get a really nice, it sort of, you get a nice nice tone, even, right? So that's good. A good spray. Okay, so it looks like we are out of paint. And let me see, I think I have like a 30-year-old bottle somewhere. Oh my God, no, that's no good. Please do not. I would actually bury that 30-year-old bottle. It's like uranium right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put Lady Gaga over to the side, and we're going to reload the airbrush. Remember, this isn't a sotar, so we don't have to do it with the dropper. Ah, okay. So remember, we always, after we reload the airbrush, we always test it first. Okay, so it's operational. Okay. All right, so I think we're doing pretty good. Let me answer just some quick questions here. See if I can find out if I missed anything. Bradley says, my airbrush online and it didn't work right. It wouldn't screw into my hose. Did you find out if it was the hose, Bradley, or was it the connection where you had the trouble? And okay, now you do have, so that's interesting. So, and I think you said no, a new quick disconnect. Okay, so it was a quick disconnect and it was new and it was having trouble. Okay, so it looks like you probably have to purchase a new quick disconnect. Is that correct? That probably is. Willie says, Wendy, have you tried it in the airbrush? Okay, that really old. Yeah, that Willie says. I find that India ink gets really strange after a certain period of time. Any India ink, for that matter, starts getting mold and everything. So, but that's if it's really old. Acrylic would have turned, in India ink's defense, acrylic would have turned into a hard piece of rock by year 5. Now, what you have to remember is at this stage, it's not going to look like anything, you know? You want to make sure that you do not get emotional and you do not say, oh my God, I have to make it look like her. Do not worry about it. Let it cook. You're not going to taste the cookies before, you know, you put it in the oven and you follow the prescribed time period. So definitely, you know, worry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and darken my reference just a little bit. So it'll just be one quick moment here. Let's see if I can do it with you guys and just show you. What I'm going to do is try doing, we're going to add a source and we are going to add, let's see, screen capture. Okay, we're going to do monitor. Let's try this. Let's see how this works, okay? So now you guys see my screen and I'm going to see what you guys see. Okay, just want to see if you guys see what I see. Okay, so you see right here, that's not good. So there you see my screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Photo Paint and see if that comes up. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the image of Lady Gaga that I'm working from. And what I want to do is I want to darken things a bit. So I'm just going to mess with the brightness and the contrast. So I can lose those edges, you know what I mean, guys? And maybe raise the contrast a little bit. So as you can see, I'm losing the those edges, and I'm getting some deeper darks here. So I kind of like that. So I'm just going to go ahead, hit OK, and then I am going to save it. Save as. And I'm going to call this number 2 because I have the first one. And we're going to just hit save. Okay. Actually, let me save it again. Save as, because it was really low quality. So I'm going to raise the quality and overwrite that. Okay, great. So that's done. So I just wanted to show you some of the workflow. So I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the second screen. And there we go. Got rid of it. All right, now, so I'm going to open up the other one so you can see the difference a little bit bigger. So I'm going to add source, and we're going to go to media, and here's the number 2. I'm going to put it side by side so you can see exactly how it looks. So you see what I'm deciding to work on is a little bit different. I'm deciding to get rid of this side contour here and all the detail of the hair for a little more drama. I want it to be a little more powerful. And because I think that, you know, when I seen her in that movie, I thought it was a really powerful, you know, very strong role that she did. So I want to portray that in this particular painting. And here is a little bit light, a little bit more lyrical, and I think here is more indicative to what I want to establish in the painting. You know what I mean? So I hope that really helps. And let me go ahead and get rid of this one and put this one over here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and work from the new reference. So now I'm on the same page of what I want to do. I'm not looking at a lighter color. As you can see, I can just start to deepen up some of these edges, and you know, where it gets lost, I could go ahead and extend it now with more confidence. Actually, I think I put up the wrong Lady Gaga. Let's see. So this is the one, and this is the one I want to get rid of. Okay, see? So here we have the darker image that I'm going to be working from. What I can also do is I can establish the earrings in the darkness here. And you can see that this particular brand erases just as well as the Higgins. Very similar. Okay, so let's go ahead and establish her teeth here. And the same on this side. And we're going to go ahead and get more detailed down the line, but right now we're just working on the major shapes. And the difference in value are really small when you work on the teeth that are in shadow. Oh, hey Keith. Heath, take care, man. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it, especially all the way from Canada. Yes, definitely talk next week. If you have any questions or anything during the week, always drop me a line, my friend. So as you can see, I'm very light where it comes with where her teeth are. So I'm not getting too involved at this point. Now, it actually is tempting to, because of course, I want it to look like her, but I'm not going to get emotional about it and say, oh, I want it to look like her. I'm not going to do that. So I have to keep reminding myself, don't worry about it. It'll look like her when it's ready to look like her. And you can just continue darkening the values. Now this is, it's not going to be as dark as it's going to be, but we're just basically slowly building it up as we did Selena Gomez. And as we darkened the image on the computer, we can see that we don't have such hard edges like on this side of the eye there. It's something that we really have to really have to pay attention to. And don't put, even though we think we see the value or think we see the detail, don't be afraid to lose it. If you look at a Rembrandt portrait, you can definitely see where he would be selective at what gets detail and what doesn't. And he would do that to add drama, and that's what we're trying to do here, is add drama to this portrait. Oh my God, it's 11:30, so that was pretty cool. So it looks like we already got to that point of 11:30. That's really neat. If I missed anyone's questions, I just want to say I'm sorry, but if I missed any questions, I definitely will get back to you guys. And so Bradley, have a great night, everybody. Willie and Wendy and everyone, Bill, everyone that was here, Letitia, Gloria. It's very cool. I really appreciate it. So let me see if I can change the camera. Okay, so this was a good live stream. I think we really did a lot of work. I'm so sorry not everyone was happy with the subject matter, but we can't make everyone happy, unfortunately, every week. But I thought that Lady Gaga was a really good decision. Because I enjoy her work, and she's very popular right now. And the main thing is also, it was a very, very good photo to actually learn from. So I hope you guys have a great Thursday, Friday, and a weekend. I hope everything is wonderful for you guys. Remember, Tim's 2-Minute Tech Tuesday is going to be tomorrow on Thursday in the afternoon because I ran late. But I hope you have a great week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourselves.